It is very good morning to all. It is our great pleasure to welcome you all again for the Knowledge 4.0 webinar series, which is one of the unique and distinct initiative of Chennai Infra Technology under the guidance of our Honorable Chairman, Sri P. Sriram, who is one of the well-known, successful first-generation entrepreneur, Managing Director of MK Group of Companies. Under Knowledge 4.0, we have been conducting webinars such as technical webinar series, research webinar series, innovative talk webinar series, and career gateway webinar series, and alumni webinar series. So apart from this webinar series, we are also conducting national seminars, international seminars, national and international conferences, and faculty development programs. So it is very happy to say that so far we have conducted more than 150 webinars and 200 eminent personalities from different academic institutions in both India and abroad, and different eminent personalities from industries. The successful conduction of this program is highly because of the motivation rendered from our management of Chennai Infra Technology, especially from our Honorable Chairman. Today we have Mr. Manoj Gupta with us to deliver the role of engineers and their roles in the automation. So I welcome you, sir, primarily for this wonderful forum. And Chennai Infra Technology was started in the year 2010 by our Honorable Chairman, Sri P. Sriram, and now our institute is being within top 10 among all other private engineering colleges in Tamil Nadu. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all the participants once again. Now, I take my privilege to introduce our today expert member, Mr. Manoj Gupta, to this wonderful forum. Mr. Manoj Gupta holds bachelor degree in engineering from University of Kurukshetra. His specialization is electronics and communication. With 16 years of industry experience, he has worked in the area of projects, technical support, Department of Automation projects. In his current role as Senior Manager, FA Center, and is primarily responsible for various engineering activities like technical support, training operation, and product service operations. In addition to that, he is responsible for various educational activities in India with the vision of student skills development for future industries. Example, Industry Academia Connect program. And he has conducted workshops faculty development programs, library setups, and guest lecture and EduMeet in different organizations. He is co-responsible for organizing a national level automation competition for young building engineers every year, so-called MIKU. So it is my great pleasure to welcome Mr. Manoj Gupta. He is one of the eminent resource person. Yesterday, I have understood his vision and his thought for cultivating nurturing the skill set to the students. It is my pleasure to have him on behalf of Chennai Infra Technology to this wonderful forum. And let me welcome to share his session. Thank you, sir. Please welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. First of all, sir, I wish and pray that everyone is good and safe from this COVID-19 pandemic. And I wish and I request to all of you, so please follow all the guidelines given by the state government, central government, and the college management. And please be safe. So good morning to all of you. And first of all, I would like to give my big thanks to Chairman, sir, P. Sriram, former technical officer of DRDO, Mr. P. M. Manoharan, and the management of College Institute of Technology for allowing me this opportunity to get interact with so many students. It is a privilege for me to share my knowledge or information to the students, with those who are our features for our new industries. With this opportunity, I would like to take you to my presentation, where I'm going to explain you or show you how the industries works, what is the recent trend in the industries, and what engineer has to do once they get enter into the industries. Let me show you my presentation. 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
So may I know if you can see my presentation?
Please, you can go ahead, sir. Please.
Thank you so much, sir. And I request to all of you, in case of you have any query, please do let me know end of this session. And this presentation I have prepared for my engineers to look at, like it can be beneficial for them to understand how to work in industries. There are plenty of the slides in that. Might be some of slides I'll skip, but more of the information I would like to share with you as much as possible. Let's start with our today's topic for recent trend in the factory automation and role of engineer. Let me introduce about the automation, segment of automation, industrial revolution, factory automation. Some case studies I'll put up, how automation is being used in industries, role of engineer, then product basket, industrial architecture, how the new industries are working upon, recent trend in automation, and followed by the summary. Let's see, what is automation? Auto plus motion, which means those the things can automate automatically, can move automatically. That minimize the human intervention for any automatic application switching. It is a use of the various control system for operating equipment such as machine, process in factories, boilers, and heat treating ovens, switching in telephone networks, steering, stabilization of ships or aircraft, and other application with minimum or reduced human intervention. It is very simple that the automation means very less human efforts to be there. So things can move automatically. We have many advantage for using the automation. And again, you can see here, it reduces the human efforts, improve the quality of the product, reduce the waste of material, energy saving, and greater accuracy and precision. Well, the advantage I have explained, like told you here, I will explain you in my further slides how it is beneficial to our society. Just look at some of the example of automation. In daily basis, we guys are coming in across of a lot of different kind of automations in our daily routine life. Sometimes we observe it and sometimes we skip to monitor it. It's a different kind of automation. For example, I'll take example of Nescafe machine. So people are taking tea or coffee. Just they press one button and they get the tea or coffee, whatever they required. It's basically kind of automation. Okay, because at the back end, this some algorithm is written where by pressing only one button, you are getting your required things. Similar way, like if you visit to or go to any, multiplex or high rise, you can look at the air condition is controlled by that self. There are many more examples of automation we see in our daily routine life. This is in this slide, you can see there's a one conveyor and the box is coming from hopper, and there's a one kind of robot is there which is placing a board or a cover on the box. Step 3 is packing it and step 4 is picking up. It's a simple example of automation to understand what is automation. Here you can see very less or minimum efforts put up by person. Here's some more example. Above one is horizontal packaging. You can just look at. I will explain you how it works by using factory automation products. The bottom one, you can see the bottle filling process. There's a conveyor and the bottles are coming down, is filling, then sealing and going back. These are some of the example of automations. Another is bag manufacturing. This is another case, an example I'm going to put up. This bag manufacturing concept, you can look at the bottom side, what products are being used. Like again, the PLCs, HMI, servo are being used. Of course, engineer has to work on these products, PLC, HMI, servos and robots, to deliver a solution kind of bag manufacturing. Basically, we had divided automation in 3 categories. One is process automation, second is factory automation, third is building automation. First, we need to understand which automation vertical we are talking about. See, process automation, where continuous process is there, like chemical plants, fertilizers, petroleum refineries, utility, water treatment, power plants, where you cannot stop the process. It should be continuous, called a process automation. Factory automation, like examples, batch process, machine equipments, automotive, pharmaceutical, FMCG, textile, plastic, packaging, printing, food and beverages. I mean to say, where you have a standalone machines, that comes under factory automation. Another example of building automation, like safety and security, elevators, escalators, water pumping, solar light, camera, vision, they are part of building automation. So there are 3 different categories. Of course, we can take some more domains of automation, like in medical sectors, in aviation sectors, but basically in 3 categories we can divide it. Now I'll give more focus on factory automation. This slide shows how our industry has been evaluated. Evolution has happened from industry 1.0 to till today. We are talking about industry 4.0. Industry 1.0 at the end of 18th century, where the people were working on steam engine, on steam power. The industry 2.0 beginning is happened with the conveyor, where the conveyor has been introduced. Industry 3.0, where electronics and IT for the progression autonomous production has happened. It means where computer and electronics has been introduced in automation or industry revolution. Now today we are talking about cyber physical systems, data handling, cloud connectivity, that comes under industry 4.0. Let me explain one by one. See, this is an example for industry 1.0, where the hammer, before it was put up by another person, now the person has been replaced by a mechanical system, okay, where hammer is being automated to give a shape to a iron piece. It's a part of industry 4.0 in 18th century we are talking about. This is industry 2.0, where conveyor system has been introduced. Industry 3.0, we can look at here, the computer based system is giving a command to robotics. So operator can control the robot using computer based system. Industry 4.0, where you can look at the single person can work with multiple of robots or AGVs using app-based application. Some app can be developed and can control the robotic system, where cloud data can be connected to our app system. I will explain you in bit detail about industry 4.0 in my upcoming slides, how it works. Let's discuss about some case studies of factory automation. Just look at this tea bag. you must have seen in the market once you buy any tea bag, okay, how nicely it is been packed. The packing, you can take number of packets from the market. Each packet will be having same kind of packing. There'll be no change in the packing. The printing will be on the same part, right? Take another example of this shampoo pouch, which contains merely 5 to 6 ml liquid. Just imagine if this pouch need to be packed manually. It is very high percentage that the manually person, once he'll be pouring the liquid, the shampoo into this pouch, instead of 5 ml, they can pour it 6 ml or 7 ml by manual system. 1 ml, it is very difficult to measure it. But this 1 ml becomes a 20% of 5 ml, which is a wastage to the company. 20%. And how we can avoid this thing? By using automation, where accuracy will take place. In my first slide, I told you the advantage. Reduces the human error and increase the accuracy. So packing will increase, reliability will increase, accuracy will increase. Indirectly, directly or indirectly, will give a benefit to the owner. Same way, we can take some more example of biscuit packing. This is a pouch packing machine you can look at. We call this foam fill and seal machine. That kind of machines, they are using induction motors, servo motors, PLCs for packing of the machine, packing of any kind of pouch. The challenge in such kind of machine is that accuracy is to be high, because that machines are producing 100 to 1000 packets per minute. 1000 packets per minute. The mechanical stability for packing it should be sound. Again, in my previous slide, I told you about the tea bag. The packing and cutting should be accurate. And for that, we use mark correction. So each pouch will be having the same cutting and sealing. Another example you can take from automotive industries. You can look at these LEDs, green color. We called as a pika system. Like in single conveyor, I'm talking about automotive industry where the cars are being manufactured. Take an example of one line system where multiple different kind of cars are being assembled, and operator, those who are not engineers, they are might be graduate persons or maybe +2 person. They don't have good knowledge or about the knowledge of different kind of component to be used in different vehicle. So what engineer does, they make a system in that manner. Whenever any vehicle comes, so particular LED will glow, and the operator can understand, yes, he need to take the material from this shelf and put into this vehicle. So that system become very easy for operator to understand. This is another example of blister packaging. You can take any strip of medicine from the market. Can you find any time? Have you find any time any pocket is empty? There is no tablet inside of that. I don't think so. It is totally technical sound and automated system for packaging. You can look at this animated video. It's a very simple one. This roller is coming. Second step, the press machine is there, who's creating the pockets. Another step, there's a hopper with tablets and coming down the tablets, followed by the silver roll to paste it at the back end. And there is a cutter which cuts the strips with required tablets, 10 or 15, whatever is required. This is a very simple process, how it is being packed. You can take more example of automotive industries like multi-level car parking system, where servos and PLC are being used. The bag manufacturing, in my earlier slide, I told you for the same PLC, servos, HMI are being used. We can take more example of printing machine. See, in all these case studies, what I have shown you is being developed by engineers for easiness of the operator. Engineer's job is to develop such means or solution so that any person can use it very easily. As I told you about Nescafe machine, being a operator or as a user, we just need to press one button for tea, and the ingredients of like liquid, water, milk, sugar will come down in a glass, right? The same way, if you want to take coffee, again a different variant of coffee, Nescafe or the different kind of coffee. So at the back end, some engineer has developed the system, the algorithm in the machine, so that any user becomes easy for any kind of user to take the use of that machine. The same way, engineer has to develop such kind of different machines for society. Now, in previous case studies, we have seen some challenges. See, demand for production rate is increasing manifold. In earlier days, it was good enough to pack the, to do the packing of any kind of material for 20 to 30 packs per minute was good enough, because that moment demand was less. But nowadays demand is too high. The same machine need to be work on 1000 pouch to 1500 pouches. So demand has been increased in manifold. So I mean to say, if demand has been increased, machine has to work in that rugged manner. The mechanical stability of machine should be there. Energy efficient. Of course, nowadays it's a very competitive market. You cannot increase the price of your product, but you can save your cost. Save one of the factor is electricity being used. So by using component, you can make low energy consumption products. Of course, high accuracy. OEE is to be high. Overall equipment recovery cost should be high. Fully transparent and user-friendly configuration. As I told you, on a single machine, the operator should be easy to produce the different kind of packets, small, medium, and large, by using the single machine. Now, this is another example of car manufacturing. 2000 cars per day, 16 hours. So this is some calculation. If we'll take an example of Maruti Suzuki, with respect to their production, we used to say that within less than 1 minute, they produce one car in a day. Within 1 minute. How it is possible? By using automation. If it's supposed to be done manually, cannot be possible. Again, I told you, easy product change. Same machine can produce different variant of products with minimum changes. For example, the same machine can produce small, medium, and large packets. Synchronization of moving mechanisms, high accuracy, energy efficient, high uptime, low cost. These are some of the current challenges of system. Now see, role of engineer. If you have observed in previous slides, 50 to 60% of FA components are electrical. 90% of application needs induction and other type of electric motor. Just look at the main role of engineer: design of machines, electrical section, sizing and selection of electrical component, installation and wiring, programming and operation, maintenance of these machines, R&D, development of new products. And of course, the last one is marketing or sale of these products. So you can look at, there are various kind of fields are there in one single company to work upon. For example, if you want to join Maruti Suzuki company, there is various departments where you can work upon. It is not about the production. It is not about the designing. It is not only about the maintenance. It is not about marketing. There are so many different kind of fields where you can do the job as per your own choice. Let me share with you some of the FA components used in automation. PLC, we call programmable logic controller, micro PLC, model PLCs, HMIs, variable frequency drives, servo system, industrial networks, SCADA, IPC, robotics, sensor, vision, and low voltage switchgears. Let me show you one by one. This is an example of PLC. Okay, where it can capture more than of 8,000 IOs. IO means input and output. Field input and outputs can be handled by a single PLC. More than of 8,000 IOs. We can have different kind of networks to communicate. You must have heard about Ethernet, Modbus, CC-Link IE. So different kind of network can be interacted with this PLC. It is the latest called MELSEC IQR. Here you can see different kind of images of PLCs from micro PLC to modular PLC. Micro PLC is a standalone single PLC, okay, with less input and outputs. So we can start from 10 number of input and outputs till the modular PLC, which can handle 8,000 IOs. This is selection criteria, how we select the PLC normally. Like how many input and outputs are there, some memory, special IO modules if need to be connected, scan time of the system. It is very important, the scan time, the performance of the PLC, the communication connectivity, and the software requirement. These are some of the guidelines to select any PLC. This is architecture of PLC, where there is a processor and there's a programming device, power supply. One side is input and other side is output. So input, we connect the push buttons, limit switch, etc. and sensors. Where the processor executes the program is there and deliver the outputs. Outputs like solenoid valves, contactors, alarm, bulb, etc. This is very simple architecture of PLC. Human machine interface, HMI. We call this as a GOT. It's a graphical operator terminal. See, once you develop any system, this HMI usually used in front of the panel, and it is basically for operator. So that operator can operate from outside of the panel. No need to open the PLC panel. You can look at from this image, a PLC is connected to the PLC. This HMI is connected to the PLC and computer using hub or LAN connectivity. There are many other Wi-Fi devices are available to connect HMI on remote connection. Another is soft HMI. We can convert HMI to our computer to soft GOT. In case our HMI get damaged or not working, so immediately we can convert our computer as a GOT HMI. You can look at this image. From this HMI, we have a facility for remote connectivity. 5 devices, mobiles, we can connect to one HMI. So 5 different operators in the plant, they can monitor the HMI screen from different location. This is an example of Andon system, where all the information is being displayed for the complete plant at the centrally, so that any person can look at how many production has been done today what is the target and where is the difference. If there is any problem, so person can pull the code and can reflect the station number on this display, and engineer can walk to that location. So end-on display is very much popular in any kind of industries. The another product I'm talking about, VFD, we called as a variable frequency drive. Some people call as inverters. The inverters, we have a range from 0.4 kilowatt to 500 kilowatt, and these inverters are used in different kind of applications. Very simple method is that wherever you find induction motor, you can use inverter. The use of inverter is for basically energy saving, control the speed of motor, because once we start any motor on DOL, it rotates on full RPM, for example of 1500 RPM. But just imagine if there is a conveyor and without inverter, direct motor is there. If you start the conveyor, the motor will start on a full speed and conveyor will run, which can damage the thing on conveyors. To control the speed of drive motor, we put inverters, variable frequency drive, that can control the speed from 1 RPM till full RPM. You can look at different kind of applications where we use VFDs in printing, in winding and unwinding applications. It's a crane example, crane which lifts the heavy material. We use the VFDs. Is that when you lift any material using this lift, there is a chances of swagging, like material which you lift can swing left and right. To swing control, we put VFD so that material will be lifted smoothly and take it forward. There are many more examples we can take up. Now talking about servo. Mitsubishi servo is #1 in worldwide, and precision is so high. With one revolution, we can get 4 million pulses. I mean to say, with a rotation of 360 degree, we are getting 4 million pulses, and we can capture even one pulse as well. So you can check one pulse, then 360 divided by 4 million pulses. That much a degree of accuracy we can monitor using Mitsubishi servo. So servos are used for basically for position control mainly, where very much accuracy is required. When we are talking about any cutting application, as I told in my previous slides about tea bag and all the thing, where cutting is required, accuracy, then servo system is being used. There are some more examples of servo. Industrial robots, different kind of robots are available in the market. Horizontal robots, vertical robots, collaborative robots, which are being used in industries. This is the typical architecture of any industry. Industry based on 4.0. Okay, where you can look at, this is the machines, machine A, B, C, and this is the manufacturing system where machine A and B data is being collected, and it's an edge computing technology that filters the data and pass on the data to server or cloud connectivity. So seamless communication from server system to the shop floor to any device, we call it seamless connectivity. And both-way communication from bottom device to the top layer and top layer to the bottom layer can directly communicate and exchange the data. This is the main impact of Industry 4.0. And of course, the cloud connectivity, the data analysis are the part of Industry 4.0. Let me tell you some more things about Internet of Things, manufacturing trends, e-factory concept, and new generation of component, followed by the summary. See, sensors devices are becoming widely available. You can look at different kind of sensors are available in the market, which can provide you a cloud connectivity, which can communicate to the cloud data. You can look at this sensors are available. These vision systems are available. Wi-Fi devices are there. Gadgets are there. Different kind of sensor devices are available in the market to get a connectivity with the cloud. See, more things are being connected. Now, home appliances or daily life devices are available which can be connected to the cloud data very easily. You can take an example of Nescafe machine, your weighing machines, which can be have a Wi-Fi connectivity. Now, people connecting to the things. Nowadays, so many sensors we have human beings are carrying with us. Those are connectivity with the internet. Like for example, mobiles, mobile phone, any gadget we are wearing. So that can provide a connectivity to the internet. Things connecting to things. Nowadays, in our vehicle also, we have a connectivity of cloud connectivity, where we can get the data for nearby petrol pump or service shop or any kind of emergency help is required. So all are get connected with the internet and can share the information. So these are widely be things are available in the market nowadays, and things are increasing day by day. As I explained you about the evolution in Industry 4.0 from 18th century till today, okay, where we are talking about cloud data analysis, big data handling is a part of Industry 4.0. This is some main activities in manufacturing trends. If we are talking about Mitsubishi Electric, we called as a E-Factory in Mitsubishi Electric. German, they called as a Industry 4.0. Then US, they called as a IIC, Industrial Internet Consortium. Rockwell, they call as a SMLC, Smart Manufacturing Leadership Coalition. In Mitsubishi Electric, we called E-Factory. The purpose of E-Factory to improve the productivity and quality, save energy, and reduce TCO by use of ICT, information and communication technology. And we have globally 272 partners in Japan and overseas. We called alliance partner who execute E-Factory concept to the machine level and factory level. Look at this slide. Industry 4.0, the Germans they are talking about, they launched in 2011. India, we called Make in India, we launched in 2014. Same way US, IIC, they launched in 2012. But Mitsubishi Electric, they have launched E-Factory in 2003. So this E-Factory concept is quite old and being used in Mitsubishi since 2003. This is the conventional way of manufacturing has been replaced by digital space. You can look at how the manufacturing process has been taken over by digital space. The conventional way, like to get the market information, then product development and design, then prototype evaluation, the production inspection, and packaging shipping. This is a conventional way. Now this whole process has been replaced by digital world, where the collection of the marketing information and trend, where 3D designing take place instead of physical development of product, then 3D printing of the product, and inspection using the automation, monitoring, quality analysis, feedback. They make the inspection of the product, and auto packing and shipping, delivery planning. So it is again the automatic part. So the conventional process has been replaced by the digital space. So that slide shows how our current system are being replaced by the digital space. Of course, nowadays we are working on 3D printers, 3D designing, automation stuff has been introduced. Gradually, the things are changing over the period. This is the e-factory concept. I would like to show you this concept. Like, it's a bottom part is you called as a machine linings, where different kind of machines are placed, where different kind of component, robot, inverter, PLC are being used. The middle layer, where different kind of controllers or PLC exchange the data to each other or different machines, so that machine 1 data can go to the machine 2 data using the PLC communication. Level 3 we call top layer, where ERP or MES, manufacturing execution system, is being used. So all the data from the server can be gone to the individual machine, or the individual machine data, the production data, can go to the top layer seamlessly. So it's a part of e-factory. Of course, productivity improvement, environmental improvement, quality improvement, safety, security is a part of 4.0. This is another trend. App-based solutions are available in the market. So very conventional way of getting the computers connect with the machines are no more. So application-based things are available, and you can monitor and rectify the problems. And in fact, sometimes you can educate to the operators or supervisors using app-based. Nowadays, robots are being used in cave because of security reason. But of course, tomorrow, robots are going to work with humans. We call as a collaborative robots. And hope might be you have seen some of the videos on the YouTube also. Some collaborative robots has been already been launched in the market, and still they are working with humans. Where the country where they have a less manpower, like Japan or other countries, they are facing with young generation problem. So they have introduced collaborative robots, those who have replaced the men with collaborative robots and working with efficiently. This is the summary about my presentation. So whatever I explained you about the trend in automation, how it is working and how it is useful, and how our engineers can work in that scenario. The summary, like the innovation in manufacturing are based on ICT. They will lead to smart manufacture, smart factories, green and urban production. Lot of opportunity for our engineers from all streams like electronics, mechatronics, computer, and more to enable smartness in industrial automation. Highly skilled manpower is required to cater the need of industries. The blend of next generation FA component with IoTs will lead to the smart manufacturing. Students should concentrate on basic, do thoroughly study of the subject. The engineering curriculum should get in line with the current trend of industrialization to produce the skilled engineer with required knowledge and information. So that's all from my side about my presentation. I hope this will be useful for you. Now, if you have any question, please feel free to ask me.
Yes, sir. First of all, thank you so much for a nice presentation.
Thank you.
The presentation is, I think it has been prepared in a clear way. Even the layman can understand easily the way in which you have taught. And I hope certainly this presentation will enhance the knowledge of the attendees, the students, as well as the faculty will also be might have got more inputs to go for a better classroom teaching, and they might be able to convey
and in fact,
the concept of automation to the students in an effective way. And thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. At this point of time, I would like to express my sincere thanks to the management of Mitsubishi Electric for giving an opportunity for you to deliver a wonderful lecture. And also, I thank I extend my sincere thanks to B.A. Manavaran sir, director, who has introduced you to for this wonderful forum through Dr. Srinivasan from CIT. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. Let me look into the chat box for
Thank you.
questions.
Please.
And Yurani and M. Ganeshan, you have been allowed to come inside to ask the question with the expert. So if you are having very good connectivity, you can come online and ask the question with Manoj Gupta, sir. Yurani and Ganeshan, sir, both of you have been allowed to get into the live room to ask the questions. Please.
See, friends, this is the beginning of our journey. Okay. And I believe, like, please believe me, there's a lot of opportunities are available for our young engineers. And just keep in mind that you are, just get into the college. After 4 years, Indian industries are going to change. Okay. And you can expect a lot of business opportunity will come down to India. So many companies are planning to invest in India. And in fact, due to this COVID-19, government of India is also pushing up for, in-house production of the things. So a lot of opportunity will come down in India for once you will graduate from the college. So you will get plenty of opportunity to work upon. But one thing I usually inform to everyone, only BTech degree will not work. Just you have a graduation in BTech and that degree will help you out to get a good job. So you must have some alpha along with the BTech. So either of any kind of factory automation, like what I told you to learn on that part, or any kind of the things, new things you can learn along with the BTech. That is really going to help you out to get a good job.
So I want to ask by Mr. Kumar.
Yeah, please, sir.
What are the main elements of Industry 4.0?
Sir, Industry 4.0 is a concept. It is not a solution like as any kind of product basket is there. It is a mixture of different kind of things. One is like top layer connectivity to the shop floor. Like any server, any IT person can access any individual machine data. This is one part. Second is, of course, different kind of the cloud connectivity. Now everybody want to access the data remotely. They don't want to go the shop floor. From my office or my desk, I want to control everything. This is another example. Third is analysis. This is very, very much important, sir. Analysis to be done of the data which is collected from the shop floor and make an analysis for future. Like where is the breakdown? Why breakdown has happened? They can make analysis for last 6 months, where the energy has been consumed more, how we can save it. After analysis, we can make the solutions. So there are various kind of solutions where we can implement, which are part of Industry 4.0. But important thing is that we need to provide a seamless connectivity of server IT system to the individual machine. Like I'm telling you, like for example, in Maruti Suzuki, I'll take an example of Maruti Suzuki. It was in a conventional way. When they need to manufacture different kind of vehicle, they need to make a manual entry in the system. Nowadays, it is not like that. The IT system, they put some code. They had defined some code in the system. The number of vehicle need to be produced different kind of in a daily basis. They put the data into the server, and from server, this data move out to the individual PLCs at the shop floor, like press machine, assembly machine, paint shop, weld shop. So this kind of data flows to different kind of shop floor and individual machines. And accordingly, the machines operate and work according to the data. And once the operation is done, back to the server, they feed the data. And the server can match it, yes, the work has been done. So this seamless connectivity must be there. And of course, the big data analysis of the data is a part of Industry 4.0. So we should call as a solution, not a product.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And some of the participants who have been allowed to ask the questions, but they are
Please.
unable to connect through because of their poor connectivity.
Okay. No problem at all, sir. I can share my details to you.
Yes,
And
sir. Yes, sir.
if they have any query thereafter also, they can talk to me anytime. And I believe if I'll get more opportunity to get work with CIT,
Yes, sir.
so
Yes,
we
sir.
can arrange some workshop for the students to get them
Yeah.
feel about automation, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, one question has been asked by Rahul.
Yes, sir.
Sir, is there any software companies to completely simulate the factory automation process?
Yes, sir. It is there. Different kind of we have different product, and for different product we have different softwares, and simulations are available with that product. Okay. In fact, nowadays we are not able to conduct the trainings like using classroom sessions, but we use the simulators to teach them, so that user can take a feel. Yes, how it is working. So robotic, maybe PLC, maybe inverter, maybe servo, maybe SCADA. Everything we can simulate on the system.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, Dr. Maniraj has asked one question.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
what are the courses further required apart from the existing curriculum for more understanding of factory automation?
Okay. So, sir, to understand the factory automation, see, I'm working with many other colleges also. I'm a part of BS member also. So, what normally they feel, so how they do, they don't consider this factory automation as a one subject. This is a complete 3 years plan. They start from the second year, where they work on the basic part, and then third year they come to the intermediate part, and the final year they work on advanced level. Like basic part, I'm talking about PLC, HMI, how to work, how to program it. Then intermediate course, they are working with servo system, SCADA system, how to get the data on SCADA, how to make a report. Then advanced level, I'm talking about Industry 4.0, cloud connectivity, robotic solutions. Then they provide the solutions like kind of a project to the student. So they deliver a complete solution in the fourth semester. So they had divided this curriculum in 3 different parts, sir. If you want, I can help you out in curriculum development.
Sir, thank you. If Dr. Maniraj asks your these things context, certainly I will be
Please, sir.
sharing to him. Yes, sir.
Please.
Sir, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation, and once again I thank Dr. P. A. Manogaran. I think he's the former chairman of IEEE, I believe. So thank him for introducing such a nice person like you to
Thank
this
you, sir.
wonderful CIT. And CIT is wishing to have more collaboration with you in future. And
Please.
thank you so much, sir. We will meet
Thank
in
you.
some other occasion, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and please stay at home and take care of all the guidelines given by the college management. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Nice, sir. Nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dear participants, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your presence. And he has explained the factory automation and what will be the role of engineers in nice way. So certainly this will be highly useful. And so certificate will be sent to all the participants within 2 nights. So along with the certificate, feedback form will also be sent. So you can approach us if you do not get the certificate within 2 days. Okay. So thank you so much, and please keep on visiting our institute website, chennaiinstituteoftechnology.com/webinar or chennaiinstituteoftechnology.com, or the pages of Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can search like Chennai Institute of Technology, so you'll be able to know the update of forthcoming webinars. And I want to convey another one thing. So day after tomorrow, there is one day 2-day international seminar on advances in materials and manufacturing. So eminent professors from NUS Singapore and Cranfield University, UK, and Dr. V. Balasubramanian, professor from Annamalai University, Center for Metal Joining Process, Center for Metal Joining and Research, and Dr. Satyanarayana, C. Satyanarayana from NIT Trichy. All the resource persons, those who are going to share their expertise and their views on the particular 2 days international seminar on advances in materials and manufacturing. So registration is still open. Those who have not done, please, you can go ahead. The information are available in the website of chennai-technology.com/webinar, and also the international conference on September 25 and 26 on materials and its applications has been announced already. So all the accepted purpose will be published in IOP conference proceeding, which is indexed in Scopus and Web of Science. Those who are not known the information also can get the information to the website. So please keep on visiting our website. Will help you to further know the further forthcoming webinars. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you. We'll meet in some other occasion.